Hi there, so this is ENEL351LAB4. So the first part here, we had to make it so that we can figure the SysTick interrupt and then make it flash on and off according to this delay value here. So see here, we've got our SysTick handler function here, and it continuously inverts the toggle value here, and then it writes that to our LED. And then we can see here, if we scroll through stuff. So this is the little SysTick interrupt setup. So you set your SysTick control to 0, and then SysTick value loaded to 0. Then you set the load register to our value, which is the one in the main function we saw there, and then you re-enable the control register. Nothing too fancy. There's this error here. Yeah, whatever. So then we can see here, got our light blinking there. Again though, the only slight problem that I have is that if I hit the reset button on here, see the code doesn't do anything. Not until, sit there and enable debug. Let's put so we got our thing board in debug mode here. And where's my mouse? That's over there, the monitor. Okay. So if we go and step through the startup code here, so and then we can, once it's gone through the startup code and gone to the clock in it, we can just step out of clock in it. And now that we're in the main function, we can turn off the debugger. There you go. And see now it works. So I don't know what's going on there, but that's the only slight bug with this. So that's the first task. We can then go, and then for our second task. So for the second task, instead of using the SysTick interrupt, we configure the EXTI interrupt. So in this case, I wrote a function called EXTI configure. So this takes 3 parameters. So it takes your EXTI num that you want to set up. So in this case, we're going to do EXTI 0. Then we want to enable port B. So by doing that, we have by having EXTI 0 and port B, that means PB0 is going to be our external input for the interrupt. And then put rising edge on. I should have put that as falling edge for this lab, but I couldn't make it work. I don't know what's going on. I couldn't figure out how to make it work. So again, we can go into our modified code here. Scroll down. Retard. One sec. Scroll to the bottom here. Where are we at? So here we go. I'll at least show you what my master function does here. As soon as I can scroll up here. Where is it? There we go. So here we go. Here's the EXTI config function. So again, it takes EXTI number, port letter, and edge detection type. So again, automatically we turn on the AFIO in the RCC APB2 ENR. So in order to use that, then of course we check if port number is port A, then we enable port A, port B, or port C accordingly. Then based off the EXTI num here, we do configuration stuff with the EXTI CR register, with the appropriate EXTI CR register. And then of course after the CR register, we can set the IMR register. And then, are we still on? Okay, 1 second. So within EXTI, so in this case doing EXTI 0 here. So we configure the correct EXTI CR register accordingly. And then configure the IMR register. And then of course we set the RTSR or FTSR accordingly, if depending on the edge type. And then finally, we go into the NVIC ISR register here and do that. And then of course that repeats for all 16 of our EXTI interrupts here. Again, I'm not sure. I couldn't get this part to work, but at least show you the code I wrote for it. There. And then of course, for this we had to also check the state of our output pin. So we have this pin state check, and so it just returns the value in the ODR register for a GPIO B or A, B, or C here. So that's not too difficult. And look, over 4,000 line of codes in my util.c file. What a record. Anyways, so that's everything for the lab here.